So the first thing I'll do, there's going to be some audio in the background, but you know, we'll get past that. So I start the battle right away. If you're a carrier, you start right away. And then you immediately hit the M to get into map. And you're going to first want to set your carrier by hitting 1 and using shift. You're going to want to set up a waypoint to keep your carrier moving. It's important your carrier is moving, hopefully away from the enemy. So I'm going to do that. I generally don't adjust the speed right away. Then the next thing you want to do, and I'm going kind of slow actually, get your fighters out there right away. Get them out there before the map even starts. Okay, so then we're going to go back to map. Wish everyone good luck. And the audio is a little bit loud, but that's okay. So then what I'll do is, because it's... Oh great, it's going to be lightning and thunder. Because there's enemy AI instead of humans, we're going to go ahead and send the torpedoes and fighters over to the side. So anyway, while doing that preliminary...
Maintaining present course.
Yeah, it's going to be irritating. By doing that right away, I get the fighters out right away. And I don't spread them out. I don't fan them out too far. Essentially, I want them kind of in the middle. Like that. And then I want to be able to shift them either to the left or to the right immediately. And since it's enemy AI, it's not going to be that hard.
Awaiting instructions. Group 3, maintaining present course.
Okay, so as soon as I spot...
Maintaining present course.
Irritating. As soon as I spot any enemy aircraft, I'm going to send
Awaiting instructions.
my fighters in.
Group 6, maintaining present course.
Okay, so there we go.
3, awaiting instructions.
So they're going to probably come from that direction. So since it's enemy AI, I can do this. Now if it's human, I wouldn't do this. My goal is to wipe the enemy aircraft and protect my fleet at the same time. I don't want a single... There we go. So then 4 is going to go out to torpedoes. So what I'll do is I got to get... Yeah, torpedo might get... I'm hoping 2 will clear out. There we go. They're done. So then 4. So hopefully I can get those torpedo bombers. There we go. Now I can get 3 up against torpedo bombers. So those torpedo bombers don't have a chance. The enemy fighters are coming, but they won't. They'll be a non-factor.
Target destroyed.
So there we go.
4, standing by for instructions. Over. Standing by for instructions. Over. Group 2, taking fire.
So basically that's 10 enemy aircraft. Make that 12.
Group 3, standing by for instructions. Over.
Okay.
Awaiting instructions.
So that's air dominance right there. Now I'm going to shift them back away from enemy ship fire. Anti-aircraft fire.
Group 2, standing by for instructions. Over.
The problem is some of the ships are spreading out, so it is going to be tough to defend them when they're way out there. One of the things that frustrates me is when I'm going to speed up my carrier a little bit, and it looks like I'm going to need to actually take it over here.
Group 4, standing by for instructions. Over.
So you don't want to get yourself in trouble as a carrier. You need to be like on the ball. You need to be moving.
We're under attack.
And then let's move the enemy ships and let's help this cruiser out. So what I'll do now is I'm going to send 3 up the middle, and what we want to do is we want to cut off the enemy carrier's aircraft. Because if I can cut off the enemy's aircraft, then I've effectively eliminated the ability to get to the ship. So rush up to the carrier as soon as the initial combat wave is done and there's an opening. You kind of have to wait a little bit for an opening to show up.
We're under attack.
And I usually don't even pay it.
5, engaging enemy. Group 3, taking fire. Engaging enemy. Group 5, returning to ship. Group 6, returning. Group 3, target destroyed. Group 3, standing by for instructions. Over. Our team has taken the lead.
Who is 4 even fighting? These bombers are taking forever to get rid of.
Waypoint reached.
How is 2 getting so decimated?
Group 4,
4's got to move up. 2 is just struggling to get rid of those enemy torpedoes. I can't believe 2 is struggling so much. So there's 4.
Taking fire.
And it's because the enemy cruiser decimated my my fighters that it's so hard.
Group 5, ready for takeoff.
Now normally you wouldn't have such a struggle.
Returning to ship.
Oh wow. So they're gonna get the torpedoes off, so now I gotta like do some evasive maneuvers. Oh really? Okay, cool. Carrier actually pulled it off. So that's actually a bad example of carrier, but because I'm doing narration, I'm probably not on my A game here. That's one of the reasons I'm not a YouTuber, because I'm not very good at narration and doing that. So the idea would be not to let your fighters go over an enemy cruiser and get decimated, but I didn't really have a lot of choice. That's the biggest thing, is being able to be
Victory is in sight.
the biggest thing is to be air dominance without having the enemy ships decimate your fighters. So now 2 can launch and stop that.
Maintaining present course. Group 5, taking fire. Ready. Group 6, taking fire. Maintaining present course. Group 5, engaging enemy. Group
Yes,
5,
that enemy
returning to
cruiser
ship.
disrupted the entire, my fighters completely. But we're gonna win, so whatever. But still, and those bombers are gonna get decimated by the fighters. Second squadron will get up there. Let's see if I can get third squadron. I gotta intercept. Torpedoes are priority.
Taking fire. Ready.
So this is a less than ideal air superiority match. The match I had before,
Target destroyed.
not a single plane made it
Awaiting instructions.
to the target.
Group 4, maintaining present course. Group 3, target destroyed. Group 3, awaiting instructions.
Autopilot mode enabled.
Group 5, ready. Group 2, we're under attack. Group 3, target destroyed. Group 3, awaiting instructions. Group 6, awaiting instructions. Group 2, standing by for instructions. Over. Group 6, taking fire. Group 5, maintaining present course. Group 2, awaiting instructions. Group 6, engaging enemy. Group 3, standing by for instructions. Over. Group 6, returning.
So those torpedo bombers will just be absolutely annihilated. I don't believe they'll get anywhere near.
Group 4, target destroyed. Group 4, standing by for instructions. Over.
It's pretty much that. So it was a decent match. .36 planes. So that was actually a very pathetic air dominance. Letting my 3 squads get over an enemy cruiser was a huge factor. I mean, overall, yeah, it was, it was still, I dominated the enemy carrier. But what you really should be able to do, which I'm going to try to do in this next battle, is just completely dominate the enemy. There should be no reason for you to lose a significant amount of fighters ever as an air dominance carrier, as long as you can stay away from enemy cruisers and battleships that have significant anti-air, like, Tirpitz and Bismarck and different ships that have tremendous anti-air capability. Clevelands are absolutely to be avoided, especially if they're maxed out on anti-air, because they'll just cut through your squads like nothing. And other than that, let's see if we can get into one more battle and get a better result. All right, so once again, this is the second battle. Let's see if I can do a little bit better this time. There isn't a whole lot of anti-air. Of course, there's a Cleveland, an enemy Cleveland, but whatever. And then we'll hit map right away and at least get the fighters off the deck as fast as possible. Alright, then hit back to map view. Let's get the carrier moving. Carriers need to be moving at all times. Even if it's just a circle, we get the fighters out and we get a better pattern on them. I generally just put them close enough that I can shift them whatever direction. Now it's really hard on me when somebody goes way out on their own. It's just, it disrupts the whole idea of defending the bulk of the ship. So if the ships stick relatively close together, it's easier. And I understand it's, a lot of people want to get the flank going. So then we'll stick out our aircraft over here. Now, against humans, I don't think you should ever put your actual torpedo bombers and dive bombers out by themselves, because they're just going to get decimated. But against AI, the AI is relatively stupid. So you can learn your air dominance tactics and strategies in a co-op game, but remember that some of the habits you'll develop, they're not going to work against humans as much. Of course, it's better than nothing. So there's where we're all going to come from. So we can just shift them all immediately over here because it's co-op. Now that's the thing I'd like to see the enemy carriers do in co-op, is be a little bit more intelligent about how they do their strikes. So we're going to be able to just dominate. Actually going to skip that over there, put 2 on the dive bombers, because torpedo bombers are really important to get rid of. So this should be a pretty good battle here. And this will be a much more effective battle this time. Now I'm going to stay away from that cruiser. Yeah. Now let's take out that battleship. At least get some shots in on it. So now what we got to do is get ourselves, at least get one fighter group up there to the carrier, because we want to do basically interdiction with our fighters against any enemy craft. And then I'll leave 3 with the fleet. So 2 and 4. We'll head up. We can just cut right over right now. And then 3's gonna go 2 now. Okay, so there we go. So there's another fleet, another flight, that is, of dive bombers. There we go. There's our enemy carrier. So 3's going to come up and get the torpedo bombers that are launching. And the trick is that the fighters will come in, but it'll be too late. And it's always better when you're a carrier, if you're going to send out a bunch of dive bombers, to keep your fighters up front, in front of them. So 2's going to come up and help with 4 with the dive bombers. It's a Congo. Congos have decent anti-air, but nothing that's that serious. Gotta get rid of the torps. So 4 can keep going. I've got to get between my troops and that enemy carrier. At the same time, I'm spotting the carrier for anyone who wants to take some long-distance shots on it. So 4 will take out the fighters. 2 will do the dive bombers. 3 needed to get their butt up there, but I didn't do it, so it's my bad. Let's get on this cruiser before they cap. Three will take out the dive bombers. 4 will come over and get the torps. You got to keep an eye on the fighter, the number of fighters you have, because if it's like 2 fighters against a squadron of torpedo bombers, they could reach the ships still, because it takes that long when you have fewer. Okay, so 4, I have to watch my ammo. So 3's got to get on those torps. 2's got to get on the torps. 4's got to come back. We need to turn the carrier around to get in a better position. So the biggest problem with being this far back is that I'm not going to be able to launch fighters as quickly. So that's the downside, but because I'm doing a tutorial or like a little bit of a walkthrough, I'm not able to pay as close attention as I would like. So I think the enemy carrier is wiped, so enemy CD air wiped. I hope so, I don't know. That's always nice when you can sink a surface ship. But whatever, I don't. It's harder for like an air dominance carrier to do that because I don't have as many, groups. I probably just KS'd somebody, which sucks, but whatever. I can't sit there and babysit whether I'm kill stealing. I really try not to do that. Kill stealing is just such bull crap. But it's part of the game. Oh, really? Wow. Oh well. 2 got diced. I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good with 3. I think 3 is going to be able to do whatever's necessary. Yeah, the firing range, the AA firing range. Wow. I guess I'll. Hey, everyone likes a bragger. That's always good. Alright, so that's it. This was a better match overall. I lost some craft, but not too many. And I think that's pretty much one of the better ways to do it, in my opinion. I'm sure there's a lot of other ways you can do it. But the main thing is, like I said, you go in after the first flight of enemy aircraft, and if you're air dominance, you immediately go between your ships and the enemy carrier. If you go right away and do that, there could be cruisers around that carrier. With humans, it's different. The AI charges very, very quickly, and they immediately abandon the carrier. So one thing that World of Warships could do that would make it much more difficult in the co-op battles against enemy carriers is if one of the cruisers kind of acted as a AA screen and kind of a destroyer defense unit, and then it would instantly be much more difficult to take out the enemy aircraft. But until the AI gets a little bit more intelligent with carriers, I think it's just going to be really easy to practice. And I enjoy air dominance much more than anything else. And the other thing that's kind of nice is if you are getting some friendly fire kills because your torpedo bombers are just shooting torpedoes all over the place and you're not paying attention, then try air dominance because it's much more difficult to get a friendly fire or a pink kill going on if you have air dominance, because you don't have as many torpedoes and dive bombers to throw around. Quick follow-up, I did get a karma from that battle, so what I try to do is go back into it, and then I won't be able to tell who gave it to me, which is unfortunate, but what I usually think it is the top players, possibly, especially when they have some rank. So I wished I knew who gave me the karma, because I could give them karma back, but I think they want to avoid that. So I'm just going to go ahead and give karma to the top 2, and then hope that they were one of the ones that gave me the compliment. It's unfortunate I can't tell who did, but I think that's an important part of the game. I mean, if you're going to get karma and someone's going to take the time to give that to you, because it doesn't happen very often, then it's nice if you go back in, even if you're out of the match, hit the I, and then go back to the stats screen for the battle, and then find the people and go ahead and right-click on their name and give them a compliment. I think it's a good thing to do. You ought to do that because it encourages people who to do the right thing, hopefully, right? All right, that's it this time for real. Catch you next time.